The First Descendants crossplay beta ended a little bit over a month ago, and since then, it seems like the dev team has been pretty hard at work. And it looks like in this dev note, the lead producer is going to kind of talk to us about what some of the changes that they've come up with and what the game is going to look like and when we can expect it. So pretty big stuff here. So the first thing that they open up with is just letting us know that it's been a little bit, they've been quiet, and the reason that they've been quiet is that there's just so much feedback that they had to go through. So they've been having a lot of internal discussion and just kind of figuring things out and where they're going to take the game based on the feedback that almost 2 million people gave. So it looks like a lot of the feedback that they received was pretty positive. People were saying that the game was better than what they had in the previous beta test. So that's a good step forward for them. They know they're on the right direction. When it comes to missions, a lot of the feedback says that the missions felt repetitive and the fact that the world felt kind of empty. At least I remember feeling that way. You kind of just ran around and just hoped that some AI would spawn in so that you could kill them. So they're trying to address that specific thing. They're trying to make it more engaging when you're out in the world and you're doing these missions. And they're trying to make it more engaging when you're doing co-op dungeons and that sort of thing. Now, regarding the prologue and tutorial, people seem to like that there was a tutorial in that little introduction section, which I guess wasn't there in the first beta. But people weren't too happy with the fact that the story itself just didn't feel cohesive. And I guess people just didn't like the fact that the story just wasn't very intriguing, which I can understand. Now, UI and UX, this is something that I definitely left some feedback on. I even said it in one of my videos. I was not happy with the mod page, specifically the mod page. It felt like what Warframe has, but just worse. It was hard to navigate. It was hard to tell what I was looking at. They definitely need some work on that, and it seems like they've taken this feedback into consideration, and they are working on improving the module UI specifically. So that's huge, absolutely massive. And they're looking at a loadout feature, which is also really big. Destiny 2 just got loadouts pretty recently, and people loved it. So this is really good stuff, big steps in the right direction. Now, when it comes to shooter play and action, they're pretty happy with the fact that people enjoyed the sound effects and the actual feel of the shooting. I know I liked it. I thought it was pretty fun. One of the most enjoyable things about the game for me was just killing stuff, because it just felt good. It also looks like a big part of the feedback that they got was people were frustrated because there just wasn't enough ammo going around sometimes. And I understand. Doing some of the Colossus interceptions, you would go in and sometimes you'd be running around with no ammo because there just wasn't any ammo dropping, and you'd have to go kill the ads and hope that they would drop something. Now, concerning the grappling hook, it seems like they got some feedback on that. I know I left some. It felt like it needed more polish, and it seems like that's something that they're looking into. So a lot of people like the grappling hook, but on the other side of that coin, as always, there's people that didn't like it. So they're looking into some ways that they can improve that. Apparently, they don't want to go too crazy on the grappling hook because they think that that could break up the flow of the gameplay too much. So we'll see what they end up doing there. They said that they're looking into radical new features. Yeah, so they're testing several radical features to answer our Descendants' requests seriously. So who knows what we might even end up getting. Bullet jumping in the First Descendant, question mark? We'll have to wait and see. Now, regarding optimization and security, they're saying here that they're looking into ways to better optimize the game, the graphics, and the settings. It looks like they had some cheaters. I was not aware of that. If you knew about that, comment down below and let me know. But I had no idea that they already had cheaters. That's pretty crazy, but it doesn't surprise me because it's 2023. People cheat on every game. So it's unfortunate, but it happens. So I want to read what he closes out with here because I feel like this is a pretty important note. And again, this is all straight from the lead director himself. So I want to close out with this. It says, there are many more development matters that I'd like to talk about, but for today, I'll conclude with my thoughts on the future development directions of the game. I believe that for looter shooters as a genre, growth elements, motivation to play, and ease of play over a long play time are more important than anything else. Therefore, the dev team has been focusing on strengthening the growth elements to enhance the inherent fun of the looter shooter, buffing content that allows players to use a variety of characters, and improving the UI and UX to ensure that players aren't frustrated by repetitive gameplay. Even after the release, we'll continue to address any shortcomings and keep updating content for our Descendants to enjoy. That's pretty typical. It's expected as of, a live service. They have to keep updating it. But this is some pretty big stuff here, I think. This is a good sign for the future because one of the things that I'm worried about the most with the First Descendant is, one, how is it going to stand out from the other games? Apart, I had a lot of people mentioning in my other videos, the sex appeal. That's a given, right? They aren't afraid to show that off. They know their audience. They know what they're doing, and it's working, right? So that's one thing. The other thing that I was a little concerned with is that the grind is actually worse, technically, than in some of the other games. There's like a double layer of RNG, whereas something like Warframe would only have one layer of that RNG for grinding. Like if you wanted to farm a regular frame, you would just go out and farm a boss over and over until you got the parts that you needed. In this game, it seems to be a little bit more layered than that, so hopefully the grinds aren't as tedious. Obviously, there's going to be a grind. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be. I'm just saying that hopefully they still try to, at least in some capacity, respect player time, because if they don't, you can have all the sex appeal in the world, people aren't going to play your game. If the game is a drag to play through, people aren't going to play it. That's just, at least that's my take. I know I sure as hell won't. So they close off here just saying that they're really going in on this feedback. They want to make the game as good as possible on launch and past that. And speaking about launch, they're telling us we're looking into the launch period to be 2024. They don't really say when. They just say 2024. So hopefully it'll be like Q1, Q2, but we'll have to wait and see. We really don't know. Regardless, I'm still excited to play this game. It seems like these devs really do care about making this the best game possible. So it seems like there was a delay, not necessarily a bad thing, because I would prefer the game to be delayed and shipped in a good state than have it released now in a terrible state where everyone hates the game and then nobody ever comes back and plays it. If it's a good game, if they make it a good game, I'm here for it. I loved the open beta. Granted, I had my issues with it, but there's a lot of potential here. I'm very excited to play this. So let me know down below if you are looking forward to this or if you're just checking out due to the things that you're seeing. But with that being said, thanks for watching. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and as always, I'll catch you on the next one.